Hi, guys. Welcome back to my podcast. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. I can't believe it's already 2026, but I am so excited for this year. I hope you guys are too. So, with the new year, I always tend to see people like creating the same goals. I started going to the gym. Ironically, I've been wanting to for the past like year, but I just put it off. But you know what? Like everybody else, I want to go back to the gym on January 1st, right? So I go, the gym is completely packed. Like when I tell you guys there's no parking. The same goes for like saving money and telling myself I'm going to be more disciplined, right? Yeah. I feel like all of us have very similar mutual goals. But in this episode, I want to encourage you guys to not have those basic, typical, mediocre goals that everybody has. But I'm going to share a little story and see if you guys can grasp what I'm trying to say. In the Bible, it talks about Jesus explaining how we have enough faith that we can take a mulberry tree, put it in the sea, and then it's gonna grow. And not only is it like growing because we have faith that it could happen, but if you realize a mulberry tree is one of those trees that is really, really like planted on the ground. Like the soil grabs onto the floor really strong, right? And then, second of all, they do not grow in areas that are like oceans, you know? Those trees are like in the forest or in gardens, whatever the case is, but not in the ocean. And then the last part of that verse says that the tree will obey you. So if you guys think about that, that's a little bit delusional, right? Is Jesus trying to be delusional with us, like telling us, like, be delusional? Yes, he is. That's the type of faith. He mentions the mustard seed. The mustard seed, it's like not visible in your eye. It's so, so tiny that you guys are not able to see it. That's how much enough faith you need to have in order to be able to grow this mulberry tree in the sea. I don't know if you guys are getting me where I'm going, right? So I was like thinking over this verse. I'm like, you know what? This is the year that we use that seed, that amount of faith to grow trees where they're not meant to be grown. So what I'm trying to say is like enough with the mediocre like goals. Like I'm just trying to lose weight. I'm trying to be healthy. Girl, we're all trying to do that. But the new year is not for that. It's not like a restart of your life. It's in a door that you decide to open for new opportunities. Set a different goal for yourself. Learn how to have faith in yourself. Yes, but also in, I've mentioned before, like a higher being. Not everybody believes in God. Some people call it universe. Some people call Allah, Jehovah, whatever deity you pray to, you believe in. Maybe you're an atheist, so there, it's energy. You believe in just energy and no absence of name or anything like that. The point is, like, when you set these goals for yourself, they're good, yes, but it's stuff that you can actually control, like, your weight. You can actually control eating, exercising, watching what you eat, like vitamins and all of that, right? You have a control, saving money. You have a sense of control over your actions. Well, why don't you try to set a goal to buying a house? You're like, hey, Liz, I don't have an income enough for me to buy a house right now. That's where you need that faith. That's where you need God to intervene. You need to believe in the energy. If you don't believe in God and you don't believe that it's God who is intervening and has the plans for you, it's your higher self, your higher person. Believe in them, put your control into them. That's what literally Jesus is trying to tell us. Like, for example, myself, I have a few, and yes, it's okay to be delusional, but like one of my goals that I actually don't have control over is I want to grow this platform. So right now I have consistent listeners. I could say between all the platforms, I have maybe 50 people listening. I don't know who they are or where they're from or whatever the case is, but only 20 are following me. Like actually following me, right? So I'm going to manifest. I'm going to make this my goal that by the end of the year, I have at least 100,000 followers, which is crazy because I don't really have control over that. I don't have control over people hitting that follow button. All I'm going to say is that's going to be my goal for this year. Does it sound delusional? Does it sound impossible? Yes, but this is going to push you out of your comfort zone. Those mediocre goals, like, are you guys grasping? This is the year for you guys to set those goals that you think are unreachable. Maybe, like, for myself, I usually don't like to manifest money or currency just because I always give the example to people. Let's say you're trying to manifest $30 per hour. $30 per hour is pretty good right now in this age, in this generation, in this year. But give it, what, 2, 3 years and it's going to be minimum wage. So, yes, the time, the energy is changing. So, instead of manifesting a currency, an actual amount of money, I'm going to manifest abundance so that whenever I'm living, money keeps coming in and flowing through me. That's what I'm going to manifest. Or I'm going to manifest the tool, which is like what I'm trying to do. Is it delusional to say that I hope to have 100,000 followers or more? Yeah. Because I just said that I have what, 20 followers? And within a year, it's a lot. But you know what? I'm just going to put that goal and let it be. You don't have that control over the resistance and of the outcome of what's going to happen. So I encourage you guys to set a goal, whatever goal it is. Don't make it be like, like I said, I want to save money. Like, if you do want to make that your goal, be like, I want to save 100,000 this year, or, you know, I want to buy a home this year. I want to buy my dream car, even though you're like living paycheck to paycheck. Like, this is the time to go far beyond that. Because once you begin to believe in yourself, that's the first step. Believing, having faith. Then you have to act like you already have it. Like, it's common sense to be grounded, it's okay to be delusional. Yes, you're still in this world. You can't act like, oh, I'm a millionaire, I'm gonna go spend all this money on. No, a good millionaire is responsible with their money. That's why they are a millionaire. Of course, you get to an extent where you can spend and the money is flowing back in. But you guys know what I mean. A good millionaire is good with money. That's how they got there, right? Just how I found out, like, about this story about a guy who won the lottery, and I think he won like 2 million or 3 million, and then within a year it was all gone. And I'm like, how do you, it doesn't make sense. That's because you manifested the money, you got it, but you didn't know how to keep it. You weren't in that mindset, in that alignment of a millionaire. Am I grasping? your goals don't have to make sense. They don't have to make sense in this reality. Your goals have like Jesus, back to the tree. He's like, he would talk in analogies, and I love that about like the Bible and Jesus teachings. It goes far beyond the mercy, the grace, there's a lot of living word in his scripture. He used to use these analogies so it could be easier for people to understand. And I tend to do that too when I talk to people. I give them analogies to make them understand easier. He said, plant this tree where it's not supposed to be grown. I'm going to give you guys a little example. It's something small. When I was working for the district, I told you guys I was working for a school. I started working after school. So I was at this school, and then I told my she was like my manager. She was above me. I was like, I really really want to work for the district during school, and then I can stay after school. That way, I used to drive 30 minutes from my home to the school. I was like, that way it's worth actually coming all the way over here. And then I was getting my experience too. And I remember I was working there, and like maybe 8 months within the time frame that I was working there, I seen that they had posted an ad or on Indeed. Yeah. Um that they were trying to hire someone to work the program that they had for counseling and extracurricular help and all of that. So I was like, you know what? I should apply. My boss is like, yes, apply. Like, you already work here. Like, it's really smart that you do that. And I remember I applied, and I was looking at the qualifications, and it said you have to have a master's degree. So I was like, there goes my chance. Even though I work here, I know everybody. I don't have a master's degree. I just got my bachelor's. I was like, I could take like some, you know, other credentials or something that I need, but I don't have my master's. And she's like, do the interview. Who cares? Send in your application. So here I am. When you apply to work for the district, it's actually a board. So you apply to the board. There's like 5 people interviewing. They're all looking at you, and here I am. They asked me 3 4 questions, and then they're like, so why do you want to work here? And what qualifications do you have? And I was like, oh, I have extensive years of like working with kids. Not only am I employed right now, like I intend to plan to work for the district eventually. I just need experience. I was like, honestly, I already know all the staff, the employees. They all looked at me like, we know her, like we see her around. And that was it. They're like, if we're gonna let you know, we're gonna talk to and interview a couple more people, and then we will let you guys know by email. And the next day, my boss, she's like, you got hired, just don't tell anyone. And I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, they hired me. I was like, I remember the night that I had the interview, I was like, God, like, I'm not qualified, but I have experience, in this area. I have extensive, not only do I already work for this community, but the door is open, and you can only open that door. So basically, they gave me the job. They told me that because I didn't have the certain certifications, I was going to get 50 cents less, but eventually I would be able to like earn my way up. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is something that no matter how much I tried my efforts to obtain the job, I this was like just being delusional and just going for it. You know, if I didn't try, I would have never got the job. And it just worked out perfectly, everything. And, you know, I could have been like, told my boss, like, please give me a hand, like, you know, convince them to, like, you know, hire me because I'm already here. But she didn't do anything. I just let it be. I was like, you know what, if this is meant to be for me, it's going to be for me. And there was a lot of applicants. You know, this is a district job, and I am just so grateful. And that story, I always remind myself, like, no matter the circumstances, the obstacles that you get, if you have a goal in mind, just do it. You know, when the year starts, I always do vision boards. And my boyfriend makes fun of me. He's like, why do you do vision boards? Just have it in your head. You have goals that I need to visually see. Because when you see, I feel like you see it physically. They say in the Bible, having faith is believing in something that you can't see. So myself, when I see it on my vision board, I was like, I already see myself there. I see myself at the beach. I see myself in Mexico. I see like the delusional self that, you know, I'm just going to let it be. I'm not going to say a lot of my goals, but another goal that I don't know, maybe I'm just going to keep it to myself. And when the time is comes, I'm going to share it. Um but yeah, it's good to be delusional, like go and make those goals that you would never think of. Even if they're super delusional, the more points you're gonna get. If you guys want to share some of those goals with me, like what kind of goals, be delusional, learn to have faith. You know, Jesus was the king of showing us how to have faith. And I feel like people don't even have faith the amount of a freaking little tiny seed. That's so little. And it just shows that you don't need to have a lot of faith. You don't have to try so hard. Whereas, like, if you were to trust God and let go, you would be like, it's on you. Like, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. It's a good exercise to using your faith to have a strong year. And trust me, you guys, once you experiment the first time where you let God like do stuff for you, be in alignment with God's plans, it's going to go skyrocket. There's millions of things that you're able to accomplish without trying so damn hard, you know? I told you guys in the past episodes that sometimes it shouldn't have to take all your tears and sweat in order to accomplish things. Some things will just land into your lap and you're going to be like, whoa, where did it come from? But it's okay. You deserve it. You just have to be willing to receive and accept and have faith. That's the only thing. I think the people who are very negative, I don't get along with them for that reason. Because I'm a very like hopeful person, very full of faith. Like, that's one thing I am proud of myself. I feel like I'm very motivated, very like ambitious. I do not give up. If my manifestation now is not coming to fruition, I don't just quit. I'm not like, oh, I'm just going to quit this. I continue to go and go until it pays off. Like this episodes, you know, sometimes it's discouraging to see on YouTube or to see only um 20 listeners, 30. I'm like, all this work that I put in is not just like coming and recording. There's editing, there's setting up, there's cleaning, organizing. If you guys could see the backdrop of all of this, you guys would be like, damn. And then only to get like 20, 30 views is like discouraging. But you know what? You gotta show up. That's all. You can't force anything. Just show up. And trust me, whatever you're in alignment with will come through soon or later. Some people want to just quit halfway because they don't see it when they're this close to achieving what they truly desire. But yeah, guys, I encourage you guys, please, please think of one or two things that you want to accomplish, but make them delusional. The more delusional, the better. Like I said, don't give me no little, I want to lose 10 pounds, unless it's really, really hard for you to lose weight and it's like impossible. Or some of you guys want to like have a baby. Some of you guys want to start a business, but you guys don't have the money to start it. You don't just be like, I want to start this business. I remember 2 years ago, I had this idea of like the podcast. It was barely like a new thing in the YouTube community. And I remember I printed a mic on my vision board. And look, it took me what, a year and a half later for it to actually like come to fruition. And now it's actually happening. It's crazy. But yeah, I encourage you guys. I want to hear you guys like remember that there's no thing as like super super delusional. Like be delusional. Always, you have to be grounded in this world. We are grounded. At what level to be grounded? But use your faith, use your imagination, your creativity. I don't know. I don't know why I think like that, but I think it's gotten me pretty far to where I am now. And I want you guys to be, in alignment with me, and we both grow together. We both manifest. If you want me to pray for maybe something that you want, I'll make it happen. But anyways, guys, I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys.